Hi, my name is Matthew, and I'm going to be showing you how to make this ring. So we're going to start out with some wire. I believe this is 22 gauge wire, and I prefer normally 18 gauge, especially if you're starting out. A little bit bigger wire is a little bit easier. So I'm just going to try and wrap this around my finger. And a quick little disclaimer, this is a horrible idea. So I eventually realized that and started wrapping it around something round that was not attached to my body. Once you have the size of ring that you want as far as width goes, you can cut it off and try and take it off, which is what I'm doing right here. Now, once you take it off, you're going to want to go to the ends, and you're going to want to try and raise the piece up to make a little elevated L shape. That way the wires can be joined together and sit flush. So that's what you're seeing me do here. Right now I'm just trying to gather all the wrappings close together so I have the same amount of coils that I want in this ring, and then I'm going to take that little piece that I just made and wrap it over the ring itself. Once I have everything together, I'm just going to wrap that piece of wire around the ring, and that is going to help me hold everything down. Once I get one or two wraps in, you can take your pliers and actually clamp down on the wrapping itself, and that will help really make the ring look a lot more like a ring. Now I can go to the back side and I can do the same process and just wrap it around. I like having a little bit more wire on the back end, so that way I have a little bit more choice about where I want these pillars to kind of end. Then I just clamp together and clamp down. I clamp it together so that way it makes the end result a little bit tighter to look at and just more visually appealing. Once you get as many wraps as you like, I tend to prefer 3 for higher gauges and 4 for really low gauges like this. You can just go over and cut off the excess. Now I should be using actual wire trimmers here, but I am not because I have no idea where those are right now. Now, once we have clumped both sides, we're going to try and do a little bit of a decorative side. I don't know if you can see it because the video is horrible, but I have some little decoration made out of some half-round gold-plated wire. And to make this little decoration, we just turn the wire with a small piece sticking out, and then crimp this small piece to make essentially a small hook that goes down. This hook going down adds a little bit of decoration to the ring itself and really helps it stand out when people are looking at it. Once you get that on, you're just going to attach it to the ring itself, as I said, pull it tight, and then trim off the other section. Once you get that part trimmed off, you can put it on and wrap it over the ring. And then try and make a quick 90-degree turn on the wire itself. And then push down to make it look really nice. Now, getting these two tight can take a lot of practice, and it's very difficult the first couple of times. It's a lot easier doing this whole step if you have half-round wire. It'll look a lot better, but starting out with just round wire is also perfectly good until you get a handle on how to do it. Now I'm going to add in a second piece of this decoration. I generally like having 3, but 2 does the job as well. I personally believe that you should at least have 2. Having 1 would be just far too little. Now in this section, I didn't trim the excess when I was away. I just trimmed the excess when I pulled it over the side. Again, you just twist it over, and remember, because these two are a little bit further down, you want the inside gap to accommodate the earlier piece of decoration. Once you have these down, you can just clamp them down with your pliers. Now we're going to grab some sterling half round wire to make the essentially pillar to the column. And so I just cut off a smaller section. I tend to go about 16 inches for a ring. That gives me a decent bit of leeway, but you'll just get a feeling for it the more you do it. Now, you can use round wire. It'll make it significantly more bulky, and it actually doesn't change the difficulty all that much. I would highly advise against using square wire though. Once you start wrapping, the first part is always the hardest, so I like to go and clamp down a little bit at the base to really push out each of the rings of the actual ring, and that helps me to get a good foundation. This is just going to be a little bit more of me wrapping this ring. So once we have a section of this made, we're going to actually make the decoration for the other half. And we do this the same way that we did the first one. You just make that 90-degree turn and then a small little hook, and you grab one end and hook it. And just like the other one, we turn it over, trim off the excess, and clamp it all down to make it look nice. Now, once you do that, we do the second section, and then we will get back to wrapping. And I am very sorry about how large my fingers are and how poorly placed the camera is. I am new to all of this, and I hope I will get better if I keep doing this. This is the second part of the decoration. And again, the second part is going to be a lot further apart than the first part. So you'll get a feeling the more and more you do it. I would highly recommend the first couple of times you do this, you do it with very cheap materials and just get a feeling for how wide of a spacing each wire is going to take. And now we just wrap some more. Now we just wrap some more, and I'm going to very much speed this up. Every once in a while, just crimp down on the wire. I do also apologize for my editing skills for this. As I said, this is my first video and it is fairly awful. As we're getting closer to the ends, I want to be more careful. And what we're just going to do is we're going to get right up to the decoration and then just wrap over. And you want to make that wrap over very tight and then crimp down on it hard. So that way it removes the ability for this to get away. Once we're done, we're going to cut off all the excess we have and just tuck that end part into the back so no one sees it. Kind of like what happened to the hook at the beginning. Once you get the ring essentially done, I would highly recommend going through the entire thing and crimping down. And so that is how you make this ring. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, but especially if you could comment and give me some advice for how to do this. I do not know if anyone will ever see this, but thank you for watching, if you are. Goodbye.